الحمد لله الذي هدى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيد الرسل وخاتم الأنبياء وعلى آله وأصحابه الذين اجتبى. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصابرين والصابرات والخاشعين والخاشعات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما. وما كان لمؤمن ولا مؤمنة إذا قضى الله ورسوله أمرا أن يكون لهم الخيرة من أمرهم ومن يعص الله ورسوله فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا. صدق الله العظيم. Today, inshallah, we'll spend some time with our mother, the mother of all the mu'mineen, al-Mu'mineen, Salama radiyallahu anha. And the reason I selected these ayahs at the beginning, because these ayahs were revealed on her question to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, Quran talks about virtuous men, how about virtuous women? And before Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam would reply, these ayahs of Al-Quran al-Kareem were revealed, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned almost all kind of ibadahs, naming men, women, anyone who would perform these ibadahs, they will get the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are some other ayahs of Al-Quran al-Kareem that were revealed because of her questions also. And mostly all of these ayahs are regarding the same topic when she would ask about, Ya Rasulullah, how about women in this case? How about the women in this case? And the ayahs of the Quran were revealed in those, about those situations. Salama radiyallahu anha, she is more known now by her nickname, which is Salama. Her real name was Hind. And her nickname was Salama because she had a son named Salama. So she was called Salama, the mother of Salama. And her husband is known as Abu Salama, the father of Salama. For a father, it was a way of respect that they used to call them the father of so-and-so. And for women, it was a way of concealing their names and not talking about them in public. So they used to say the mother of so-and-so. And we know that Aisha radiyallahu anha did not have children. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because he did not want her name to be mentioned everywhere, and she is al-Mu'mineen, everyone will be talking about her. So he gave her a nickname of Abdullah, the mother of Abdullah, because that was the son of Asma radiyallahu anha, her sister. And he was very close to Aisha radiyallahu anha, Abdullah bin Zubayr radiyallahu anhu. So she was called Abdullah. And this was the general habit to keep people from always mentioning their names. They will say the mother of so-and-so. And even when they're talking to people, they would get to someone's home, knock at the door. Who is there? This is the mother and so-and-so, of so-and-so. So same way Salama radiyallahu anha were known by her nickname Salama, and there are only histories that mention her name, and that was Hind. Just like another wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Habiba radiyallahu anha, most of the people won't know her name. Her name was Ramla radiyallahu anha. So Salama radiyallahu anha, along with her husband Abu Salama radiyallahu anhu, they were one of the first people to embrace Islam in the beginning days of Da'wah. And some of the narrations say that they might have been one of the first 10 people to embrace Islam. They were from a clan of Quraysh called Bani Makhzum. And Bani Makhzum was the clan who had the leadership of Quraysh in those days. Abu Jahl was from Bani Makhzum. In fact, Abu Jahl was the cousin of Salama radiyallahu anha. Same thing, Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu anhu was the cousin of Salama radiyallahu anha. Ammar bin Yasir radiyallahu anhu was her foster brother. One of her brother, whose name was Abdullah, was very harsh against Islam in the beginning days of Islam, who became Muslim later on, about in the 6th or 7th year of Hijrah. But when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was in Medina Munawwarah, he was deadly against Islam. In fact, there is an ayah of Quran al-Kareem that is revealed about him. In fact, about his question. And the ayah of Quran says, وَقَالُوا لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى تَفْجُرَ لَنَا مِنَ الْأَرْضِ يَنْبُوعًا. They said, "Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we will never believe in you until you start bringing fountains of the ground." It was just to mock Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, just to throw something that will showing him that there is no way that I'm going to believe in you. And this is what Abdullah came to say to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But subhanallah, Allah muqallib al-qulub, the one who changes the hearts. And later on Abdullah became Muslim also. Because of being from that clan of Quraysh, who were the leaders of Quraysh. So as soon as they became Muslim, they had to go through a lot of hardships. And they were tortured very badly. For that, Abu Salama with his wife Salama radiyallahu anha decided to leave Makkah Mukarramah. And at the same time, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam allowed the people, the Muslims in Makkah Mukarramah, to migrate to Eritrea. And Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in started immigrating there. After some time, they heard that now the situation in Mecca have changed. And people are living in peace over there. There are no more difficulties to live in Makkah Mukarramah for Muslims. So they came back to Makkah Mukarramah. But when they came back, they came to know that there were only rumors spread intentionally by the kuffar of Quraysh. So these people would come back and they can torture them again. So it's not only that they did not want Muslims to be around them and with them, they did not want these Muslims to live in any part of the world peacefully. They did not want these Muslims to live in any part of the world peacefully. They did not want these Muslims to live in any part of the world peacefully. They did not want these Muslims to live in any part of the world peacefully. They did not want these Muslims to live in any part of the world peacefully. So there's intentionally spreading rumors over there that now Mecca is safe for you people to live, so these people would come back, and this is exactly what happened. Many of them came back. When they came back, the situation was the same. In fact, it was worse for these people now as they came back, because no one is there to protect them anymore. And their own family members were the ones who were taking the lead in torturing these people. Finally, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he allowed Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een to migrate to Medina Munawwara, at that time, Salama and Abu Salama radiyallahu anhuma were the first, or one of the first people to migrate to Medina Munawwara. But as soon as they started this journey, another type of hardships and difficulties started there. And this was a family that suffered the most for doing the hijrah in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the people of their own clan, of their community, knew that these people are leaving Makkah Mukarramah to Medina, so their relatives started following them to bring them back. When they got to them, the relatives of Salama radiyallahu anha, they said to Abu Salama, while they're arguing, quarreling, going back and forth, they said to Abu Salama, if you go, we are not going to stop you from going because we have nothing to do with you, but we won't allow you to take, her brothers are saying, we won't allow you to take our sisters with you to Medina Munawwara. She is going to stay here, and she has to stay here. You can't take her with you. He says, this is my wife. No, you can't take her. Now, as they took his wife away from him, they had a son, a young son, Salama. Now, the Jahiliyyah started over there. And the relatives of Abu Salama said, if you people won't allow her to go with him, we are not going to allow her to keep her son with our son with her, because the son should go with the father. And of course, we won't let him to go to Medina, so we'll keep the son. And as they started fighting over the son, and all of them are trying to pull this young boy, Salama, and some of them ended up pulling him so hard that they pulled his hand off. That was the time when Salama said, okay, just leave my son, let him go wherever they want. If you might just kill my son in this situation. So her relatives stopped fighting for him, and Abu Salama's brothers or cousins, they took the young boy with them. So here, the mother goes with her family. Abu Salama radiyallahu anhu went to Medina Munawwara, and his young son is with his brothers and sisters. The whole family was scattered. Salama radiyallahu anha says, they kept me for almost a year, and throughout the year, all I was doing was just crying. All they would see me doing is crying. I wanted to go back to my husband. I wanted my son back. But, she says, my in-laws said, we are not going to give the son back to you until you are allowed to join your husband. And my parents and brothers and cousins are saying, we won't allow you to go back to your husband. So the situation was, you have to just live in this manner, either accept it, or you just live like this and you die in this situation. And we know, a year is not a short time for a woman to be away from her husband and her child and crying throughout that time. It was for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that these people had to go through all of these hardships. And finally she says, after a year, one day one of my cousins felt sorry for me, and he said to all of my relatives, said, why don't you just send this poor girl back to her husband? Give her son back, send her back to her husband. So at that time, they accepted it, and they decided to send me back. When I was, of course, as they decided to send me back, my in-laws gave me my son back. But they said, we are not going to help you go over there. You have to go by yourself, do whatever you have to do. This is what the brothers and sisters and parents are doing to this young girl. A journey of 2 weeks on her camel in the desert. And you have to do it yourself. You have to arrange it yourself. We can do nothing for you. She said, I had no choice but to pick my son up and start walking in that direction that I knew is the direction of Medina Munawwara. On her way, she found a person whose name was Usman bin Talha, who was not Muslim yet. He became Muslim after Mecca was conquered. At that time, he was not a Muslim, but he felt sorry for her, and he said, you're a girl from our clan, from our town. I can't just let you go like this, so I'm going to take you to Medina Munawwara. Salama says, even though he was not a Muslim, she said, in those days, people used to have a lot of respect for women. She says, throughout the way, he never talked to me face to face. He would always keep his face the other direction and he would talk to me. This is a kafir. As a respect to her, she says that